Carl Jung believed that toxic people do not always enter your life by accident. Sometimes, your unconscious recognizes them long before your conscious mind does. That idea sounds unsettling. Most of us want to believe we simply had bad luck. We trusted the wrong person. We loved too deeply. We happened to meet someone manipulative. Yet Jung spent decades studying the hidden patterns beneath human relationships. Again and again, he found that people often repeated the same emotional story with different faces, different names, different places, the same ending. If every relationship begins with hope, but ends in the same wound, perhaps the question is not only, who keeps hurting me? Perhaps the deeper question is, what inside me keeps returning to the same kind of person? Jung did not believe this happened because the universe was punishing you, nor did he believe you somehow deserved suffering. He believed the unconscious seeks completion. Until hidden conflicts become conscious, they quietly influence our choices, our attractions, and even the people who seem to feel strangely familiar from the very beginning. The tragedy is that what feels familiar is not always what is healthy. Sometimes, it is simply what the soul has known before. Understanding this changes everything, because the goal is not to become suspicious of everyone. The goal is to understand why certain people once felt impossible to resist. Only then does the cycle begin to lose its power. Imagine meeting someone for the first time. Conversation flows effortlessly. They seem to understand you immediately. You feel an intense connection that defies logic. Many people call this chemistry. Some call it destiny. Carl Jung would encourage a more careful question. What exactly feels familiar here? Human beings rarely experience another person objectively. Instead, we experience them through the lens of our own unconscious history. Every childhood experience leaves emotional traces. Some become wisdom, others become unresolved emotional patterns. Jung referred to these emotionally charged patterns as complexes, a concept he developed extensively throughout the structure and dynamics of the psyche, collected in Collected Works, Volume 8. A complex is not simply a memory. It is a living emotional network. It quietly shapes perception. It influences expectations. It reacts before conscious thought has time to intervene. This explains why two people can meet the exact same individual and walk away with completely different impressions. Each person is responding not only to reality, but also to their own inner world. Suppose someone grew up believing that love had to be earned. Affection came only after pleasing others. Acceptance depended on becoming useful. Conflict always threatened abandonment. As an adult, this person may unknowingly feel drawn toward emotionally distant partners. Not because distance feels pleasant, because distance feels recognizable. Recognition often disguises itself as attraction. This is one of the unconscious illusions Jung wanted us to notice. The nervous system often mistakes familiarity for safety, even when familiarity once caused pain. This is why leaving a toxic relationship does not automatically prevent entering another one. The external situation changes. The internal pattern remains. Without awareness, the unconscious simply searches for another stage on which to replay the same emotional drama. Many people interpret repeated heartbreak as evidence that all relationships are dangerous. Jung would likely disagree. He might suggest that the deeper danger lies elsewhere. The unconscious keeps choosing what consciousness refuses to examine. This realization is not an accusation. It is an invitation. Because if unconscious patterns helped create repeated suffering, conscious awareness can slowly dissolve their invisible influence. The goal is never self-blame. The goal is self-knowledge. Perhaps the most painful relationships in your life were not random interruptions. Perhaps they were invitations to discover emotional patterns that had quietly guided you for years without your permission. The possibility is uncomfortable, but it is also deeply liberating, because what becomes conscious can finally begin to change. Before asking why the wrong people always appear, another question deserves attention. Why did they feel like home? Carl Jung observed that every society encourages people to wear psychological masks. He called this mask the persona. He explored this idea in 2 essays on analytical psychology, published in Collected Works Volume 7. The persona is not inherently false. It serves an important purpose. It allows people to function within families, workplaces, and communities. Without it, social life would become nearly impossible. The problem begins when the mask slowly replaces the person wearing it. Some people become known as endlessly patient, always understanding, always forgiving, always available. Others admire these qualities. They appear kind, reliable, selfless. Yet beneath this admirable image, another story may quietly unfold. The persona often develops through adaptation. A child discovers that being agreeable earns affection. Being quiet prevents conflict. Taking responsibility keeps the family stable. Over time, these strategies stop feeling like choices. They begin to feel like identity. Eventually, saying yes becomes automatic. Expressing disappointment feels dangerous. Setting boundaries produces guilt instead of relief. From the outside, this person seems remarkably compassionate. From the inside, they may no longer recognize where their own needs begin or end. This creates a psychological imbalance that manipulative individuals often detect without conscious effort. People who seek control rarely search for the strongest personality in the room. They search for the one least likely to resist. Not because kindness is weakness, because disconnected boundaries create opportunity. There is an important distinction here. Jung never suggested that goodness attracts cruelty. He suggested that unconscious identification with the persona distances us from the fuller reality of ourselves. When anger is never acknowledged, when frustration is always hidden, when disagreement feels morally wrong, the individual loses access to essential psychological functions. The result is not greater peace, it is greater vulnerability. The irony is striking. The more desperately someone tries to appear perfectly good, the easier it becomes for unhealthy relationships to survive. A healthy personality contains compassion. It also contains firmness. It contains generosity. It also contains limits. Without both, kindness slowly transforms into self-abandonment. And few things are more attractive to a manipulative person than someone who has forgotten how to protect their own inner world. Sometimes the most dangerous sentence in any relationship is not, "I love you." It is, "I don't want to disappoint you." That single sentence can quietly reshape an entire life. Once the fear of disappointing others becomes stronger than the desire to remain authentic, the persona begins to dominate the personality. Every decision is filtered through one question: what will they think of me? Very little attention is given to another question: what do I actually feel? Jung believed psychological health does not come from becoming socially perfect. It comes from becoming psychologically whole. Wholeness requires far more than kindness. It requires honesty. Sometimes honesty disappoints people. Sometimes honesty ends relationships. Sometimes honesty reveals that the image you spent years protecting was never truly yours. This is why escaping toxic relationships often feels terrifying. The fear is not only about losing another person, it is about losing the identity built around pleasing them. Many people mistake this fear for love. Jung would encourage us to look deeper. Love allows both people to become more themselves. A persona built on fear asks one person to disappear. The difference is subtle. Its consequences are enormous. The moment you stop measuring your worth through another person's approval, an invisible shift begins. Some people become uncomfortable. Others lose interest. Not because you became cold, because you stopped offering unlimited access to yourself. This is rarely dramatic. There are no grand speeches, no miraculous transformation overnight. Instead, the emotional landscape slowly changes. Conversations become clearer. Manipulation becomes easier to recognize. Silence becomes less frightening. The need to rescue everyone begins to fade. And something unexpected appears. Respect, not only from others, but from yourself. The persona was never meant to imprison you. It was only meant to help you meet the world. When it becomes your entire identity, however, you begin living for acceptance instead of truth. That is where many toxic relationships quietly begin. Not with another person's cruelty, but with the gradual disappearance of your own authentic voice. Every mask protects something. The question is whether it is still protecting you or preventing you from being seen. Few ideas from Carl Jung are more misunderstood than the shadow. Many assume the shadow represents evil, or immoral desires, or hidden darkness. Jung meant something far more profound. In Ion, collected in Collected Works Volume 9, Part 2, Jung described the shadow as those aspects of ourselves that the conscious personality refuses to recognize. Some of these qualities are destructive, others are surprisingly healthy. Anger, ambition, envy, neediness, confidence, selfishness, even creativity. Anything rejected by the conscious ego can become the part of the shadow. The unconscious does not erase these qualities, it simply hides them from awareness. What remains hidden does not disappear, it seeks expression, often through projection. Projection is one of Jung's most important psychological insights. It occurs when unconscious qualities are experienced as belonging to someone else instead of ourselves. Without realizing it, we begin living in a world populated by pieces of our own unconscious. This has profound consequences for relationships. Consider someone who has spent years denying their own anger. They believe good people never become angry. Conflict feels shameful. Their frustration is buried beneath endless patience. Then they meet someone emotionally explosive. That person's anger feels overwhelming, almost supernatural. They become fascinated, terrified, unable to leave. The relationship seems entirely about the other person's behavior. Yet something deeper is happening. The shadow has found a visible form. The qualities rejected within oneself now appear embodied in another human being. This does not excuse abusive behavior. Jung never suggested tolerating harm because it reflects psychological symbolism. Reality still matters. Boundaries still matter. Safety always matters. The point is different. Until the rejected parts of ourselves become conscious, they often continue to shape the people who exert the strongest emotional pull. The same pattern appears in countless forms. Someone who suppresses vulnerability becomes captivated by emotionally expressive partners. Someone ashamed of ambition admires dominating personalities. Someone terrified of independence repeatedly chooses controlling relationships. Each attraction seems mysterious. Yet beneath the mystery lies psychological compensation. The unconscious constantly seeks balance. Whatever consciousness excludes, the psyche attempts to restore. Sometimes through dreams, sometimes through imagination, sometimes through another person. This explains why certain relationships feel larger than life. They awaken emotional intensity that seems impossible to explain logically. The relationship is never only about the other individual. It is also about the forgotten parts of yourself they unknowingly carry. Seen this way, toxic relationships become psychologically revealing, not because suffering is meaningful by itself, but because suffering exposes hidden structures within the personality. The person who hurt you may not define your future, but the unconscious pattern that connected you certainly can, unless it becomes visible. The shadow rarely introduces itself as a monster. More often, it arrives wearing a familiar face. Have you ever looked back on an old relationship and wondered how you failed to notice what now seems obvious? The warning signs were there. Friends saw them. Family sensed them. Yet you remained convinced that the relationship was special, almost destined. Jung believed projection plays a central role in experiences like these. Projection does not mean imagining something that does not exist. It means unconsciously adding psychological meaning that belongs to you rather than the other person. The result is powerful. You no longer see another human being clearly. You see a living screen onto which your unconscious projects hope, fear, longing, or unfinished emotional stories. This is why first impressions can feel almost magical. Within days, someone appears wiser than they are, kinder than they are, more mysterious than they are, or more dangerous than they are. Reality has not changed. Perception has. Jung observed that projection is especially intense in intimate relationships because love naturally awakens unconscious material. We do not simply meet another person. We meet everything inside ourselves that relationship activates. For a time, this can create extraordinary emotional intensity. It feels as though two souls instantly recognize each other. Sometimes they truly do share deep compatibility. Sometimes they are recognizing something else, an old emotional pattern searching for completion. The painful moment arrives when projection begins to dissolve. The idealized image weakens. Reality slowly emerges. The person standing before you is no longer the imagined savior, nor the imagined villain. They are simply human. Many relationships collapse at this stage. Not because love disappeared, because illusion did. Jung considered this moment psychologically significant. It offers a rare opportunity. Instead of asking why another person changed, we may ask a more unsettling question. What part of my own unconscious was I seeing all along? That question does not erase betrayal. It does not minimize manipulation. It simply returns attention to the only place genuine transformation can begin: your own inner world. When projection weakens, something remarkable happens. Other people become easier to see, not through fantasy, not through fear, but through reality. And reality, although less intoxicating than illusion, offers something illusion never can: freedom. If Carl Jung had reduced psychological growth to a single idea, it would not have been happiness. It would have been wholeness. Throughout his work, especially in The Archetypes and the Collective Unconscious, collected in Collected Works Volume 9, Part 1, Jung described the lifelong process of individuation. This is not self-improvement in the modern sense. It is not becoming more successful, more attractive, or more admired. It is the gradual integration of everything the personality has divided against itself. The persona is no longer mistaken for the whole self. The shadow is no longer treated as an enemy. Projection slowly loses its grip. The conscious and unconscious begin a dialogue instead of a silent war. This transformation rarely happens dramatically. There is no single morning when you wake up immune to manipulation. There is no final lesson that permanently protects you from disappointment. Life remains uncertain. People remain imperfect. But something fundamental changes: your relationship with yourself. A person who has begun the work of individuation no longer searches desperately for someone to complete them. Completion is no longer expected from another human being. It is cultivated within. This changes attraction in ways that often surprise people. The same charming manipulator who once seemed irresistible may now feel strangely predictable. The same emotional games that once created excitement may now create exhaustion. The same promises that once sounded romantic may now sound hollow. What changed? Not the manipulator, the observer. Jung believed consciousness transforms experience. When unconscious material becomes integrated, the psyche no longer needs to repeat the same lesson with the same intensity. The cycle begins to weaken. This is why healing is not primarily about learning how to identify toxic people. Many people become experts at recognizing manipulation, yet they still feel emotionally pulled toward it. Knowledge alone is rarely enough. The deeper transformation occurs when the unconscious no longer experiences those dynamics as psychologically necessary. That is the quiet revolution Jung pointed toward. A healthier life is not created by building higher walls around the heart. It is created by seeing more clearly. Clarity changes desire, and desire quietly changes destiny. Not because fate has rewritten your future, because your unconscious is no longer searching for the same unfinished story. This perspective also invites humility. It reminds us that every difficult relationship contains more than one narrative. There is the story of another person's choices. That story belongs to them. Then there is the story of our own inner development. That story belongs to us. Confusing these two stories keeps suffering alive. Separating them creates psychological freedom. This does not mean forgiving every injury, nor does it require remaining connected to those who caused harm. Some relationships should end. Some doors should remain closed. Jung never suggested sacrificing psychological health for the sake of spiritual ideals. Instead, he encouraged an honest encounter with reality, including the reality within ourselves. Perhaps the greatest gift of individuation is not certainty. It is discernment. You stop confusing intensity with intimacy. You stop confusing attention with love. You stop confusing rescue with connection. Gradually, another possibility emerges. Relationships no longer revolve around unconscious repetition. They become encounters between two people who can actually see one another. Not perfectly, but honestly. And honesty is far stronger than illusion. The people who enter your life may not change overnight, but the version of you who welcomes them can. That changes everything. Many people spend years asking why toxic people keep finding them. Carl Jung would gently turn that question inward, not to assign blame, not to awaken guilt, but to awaken awareness. The unconscious does not seek punishment, it seeks completion. Until we recognize the hidden patterns shaping our relationships, they often return wearing different names, different faces, and different stories. Once those patterns become visible, the repetition begins to lose its necessity. Perhaps the most important relationship in your life has never been the one that broke your heart. Perhaps it has always been the relationship between your conscious mind and the hidden parts of yourself waiting to be acknowledged. The people who entered your life were never just characters in your story. Some became companions, some became teachers, some became mirrors. The question that remains is not whether someone hurt you. The deeper question is this: if every relationship has reflected something back to you, what has your own soul been trying to reveal all along?